Who was, I see a couple of faces that were here at the last meeting. Extra credit, brownie points. I know Debbie was here at the last one.
Only sign in
And
if you
I
were
know
not
Chase
allowed.
was here. Who else was here at the meeting 2 weeks ago? Well, they don't count. It's not that Sandy and Melissa don't count. But you're,
They do count, but they don't.
okay, all right. Well, I'm glad that we have some repeat viewers. Considering
Remember last meeting?
Sure.
Sign if we were not.
Okay.
and there's one I should check on my
I know, that's okay.
Sign or print?
Sign.
Anyway,
Print is fine.
I'm glad that we've got a few new faces here. I'm also, I'm really, raise your hand if you were here and you did this 2 weeks ago. Not you guys, you don't count, so just you get to there, you Chase. All right, that's certainly not required, but frankly, if I was here 2 weeks ago, I would have attended this class again. And frankly, I would have, who's watched the video? And you're here. I would have watched that video 6 times. Just because, not because it's me and it was my video, it's because I think there's a little bit of a, and I'm going to pick on a few of our Claremont, not you folks because you're here, but I was at the Claremont office this morning, and I don't think everybody quite understands what we're trying to do here. I think that the feeling is oh, it's Leadrouter, this is a mandatory meeting, and Lance is forcing me to come here. Guys, this is all about your business and making you money. If you want to make some more money this year, you need to be in this room and you need to participate in this. If that's not of interest to you, and I only say that half tongue-in-cheek, if we're going to pretend to be in the real estate business and go to the office and play solitaire and drink coffee and then go home at the end of the day and say, hey, I think I did real estate today, this is not the room for you, okay? This is not, and quite honestly, we have a tremendous amount of our agents. We have about 160 associates that work in our office. At the last meeting we did the Leadrouter class, I think there was 37 people that showed up, and I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 more. Okay? So basically we've got less than 1/3 of our entire agent population who either understands how important this is and is willing to devote the time, or maybe the other ones just don't understand, or they aren't checking their email, or it's just not important to them, they're just not interested in this. But let me tell you why we're here. This is not a Leadrouter training class, first of all. If you're here to learn how to use Leadrouter, because it looks new, right? Everybody's logged on? Everybody's seen the new Leadrouter? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. This is not that. I'm going to pull Leadrouter up right now, and we'll spend a little bit of time. On answering some basic questions within Leadrouter. But this is not. Well, it's nothing like being on someone else's computer, huh? But we're not going to. Really, we're not going to spend any time training you on Leadrouter. And if we do spend any time on that, it's going to be 4 or 5 minutes. Because to be honest with you, I don't know all the ins and outs behind Leadrouter. I am not an end user of Leadrouter. You guys probably have, hopefully, have a better working understanding of how Leadrouter works than I do, because you're using it on a regular basis. But we're not going to spend a lot of time on who has questions on the new Leadrouter. I do. I've got some. I need to be trained a little bit on, updating leads and a few other things. There's been a few. It doesn't look like my password took. Again, the dangers of being on someone else's computer. Because all my passwords are saved on my other computer.
That's a good sign.
I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good sign too.
Hit the X.
All right, bingo, we're in. Okay, so anyway, we're going to pull up Leadrouter here for just a second. If you haven't logged on, you need to. That's rule number 1. Get yourself. By the way, I access Leadrouter through CVWorks. I always log into CVWorks first, and then I go into Leadrouter that way. I don't know why this computer is so slow. Goodness gracious. Okay, sure, go ahead. Whose computer is this? Goodness gracious. There we go. Now it looks like we're. Well, maybe not. Anyway, we're waiting for that to load. We'll spend a little bit of time doing some basic Leadrouter stuff. But one of the main reasons, ooh, looks like we got shopped. Ooh, we got shopped today. Oh my God, do we dare open this up? Okay, one of the reasons we're here, who's heard me talk about secret shoppers? Okay, by the way, if you have questions and I'm confusing you, please interrupt me and say, I don't understand. I thought we were talking about Leadrouter. You're saying something different. I don't know how this connects to Leadrouter. I'm going to probably confuse you guys a couple of times today. But one of the reasons we're here is because a lot of the leads that go through Leadrouter come from Fannie Mae and come from Freddie Mac. Okay, and when I say come from, we have inventory, REO inventory, with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac signs in the yard. Specifically, Fannie Mae is secret shopping us. They've hired consumer group, not a consumer group, they've hired a company that says, hey, let's pretend we're buyers and sellers and real estate agents. Gonna pretend, okay? And we're gonna call up the listing agents and we're going to test them to see whether or not they respond to emails, whether or not they pick up the telephone, whether they know anything about the property, and all the rest of that. Honest to God, I've been in meetings all day. I have not seen this, so we're going to see this together. I'm a little bit nervous. We were secret shopped, and this email came in last night, or this morning actually, at 12:27 a.m. So this is a live shop result. Scroll down to the bottom, and we get to see it. If there says anything close to 100% over here, I'm going to be happy. Anything below that, I'm going to be sad. Significantly above, I'm happier. Significantly below, I'm sadder. Ah, see, we're going to start off the meeting good.
That was mine.
116, well, we're going to find out who that was. Last week, I embarrassed Steve and Maya. Let's see who I get to praise today. I get to praise myself.
All right.
Hey! I'm down here at the bottom. This is who they spoke to. Okay? Now, we'll use this as an example. And this is remarkable. This is one of the reasons that we are here. I am afraid. I am not only afraid that you guys aren't answering your telephones, returning your emails, or answering questions appropriately. To be honest with you, I'm a selfish son of a gun. I'm afraid for myself. I am entrusting our leads to everybody in the office, and I'm trusting that when you pick up the phone, you're going to answer professionally, with knowledge, and courtesy, and follow-up, and all of the above. Because if you don't do that, and I'm going to show you some failures up here. Anything, again, 100% is good. Anything above that is good. But if we don't score well, not only do we not get leads, what happens to my Fannie Mae account? I lose it. I lose it. And I have had this Fannie Mae account now for almost 20 years. I think it's 18 or 19 years. And I said in a meeting when we did this 2 weeks ago, this account is worth millions of dollars. And I'm not exaggerating. And I don't mean I'm going to make millions of dollars off of this account. But are we going to be doing REOs for a few years from now? What do you think? At least another 5 years? I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to make a living off of Fannie and Freddie and REOs for at least another 5 years. If I lose this account today, collectively, commission earned, which again, who gets to keep the bulk of the commission in the office? You guys do. I get my piece. In most cases, there's not anybody in this room that's not taking home at least 60% of the commission. Some of you are well above the 60% of the commission. So when I say we're potentially going to lose millions of dollars, at least 60, 70, 80, maybe for some of you are on 90% splits because you're rock stars. 60, 70, 80, 90% of that millions of dollars is your money. Okay? But quite honestly, I like my piece too. I like my 30% or 20% or whatever I happen to get. So at any rate, I'm worried about secret shopping. So let's take a look at this. This was shopped, property on Fur. You guys know where the Fur property is? Okay, if you said, give yourself a brownie button. That's one of the challenges that I currently have. If you're getting phone calls on our inventory and you know nothing about 24276 Fur Avenue, and you respond to the secret shopper like you know nothing about the property on Fir Avenue, is that a good reflection or a poor reflection on us? Obviously, that's a poor reflection. So, this is the property. Heather Stern is my asset manager. Do I want to make her happy? Of course I want to make her happy. We actually got shopped, what's the date today? 25th? 6th? Okay, so we got shopped about 2 weeks ago. These are the results. Let's take, what am I doing here? Help. Are you kidding me?
Nancy, you want to use my laptop?
I don't know. It's not better. It looks like I'm okay now. Maybe not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I want to use your laptop. Okay, anyway, while we're switching out these laptops, well, you know what I want to do with this right now?
If it didn't have a big Pioneer sticker on the back.
Okay, anyway, while we're getting our technology straightened out, I'm going to kind of explain what was just on the screen a couple of minutes ago. And basically what was on the screen is, number one, do we pick up the telephone? Okay, I think part of that was agent responsiveness. And that's not just a function of picking up the phone, that's also a function of, you know, responsiveness is, they sent us an email, and it says, hey, I'd like information on Fir. You know, do we reply back to the email? For the most part, you guys don't have to worry about that, because you're not getting those emails. Those emails are coming into me, or they're coming into the call center. And then, of course, the email that we need to respond back to, is email that we need to respond back to comes from us. And we have to say, yes, thank you very much, we'll provide information, we'll give you a call, we're going to send you over to Paul Lazo, and Paul Lazo is the professional in that area, whatever it happens to be. But basically, all they're really looking for, they're looking for us to be responsive. They're not looking for us to send an email with a million pictures and all of that's nice, but they're just looking for an email that says, I got your email, here's the question, which, by the way, most of them are not asking questions. All they're saying is, I'd just like more information, would you please call me on Main Street? Which is perfect, because our system is generated around us calling these folks back, right? Then, of course, we need to call them back. You trying to get the screen up? Yeah. You're in. Wasn't it up there a second ago? Okay, well, we're going to let Paul fool around with this. Okay, so at any rate, did we call him back? Yes or no? When we did call them back, were we professional? Okay, professional, obviously, being is, did we answer the phone properly? Who rushes people through the phone? Who has ever rushed a client off the phone? Raise your hand. Nobody in here has ever rushed a client off the phone? You haven't been, am I the only one who's been busy, a little bit distracted, and, you know, okay, well, then you guys have nothing to worry about that. If you're taking the appropriate amount of time to go through, answer every question, not rush them, give them the information and all the data and stuff they're looking for, then great. But let's suppose they ask a question, hey, I'd like some basic information on the property on Fir. Do you think that'll qualify FHA? Has anybody seen the property on Fir? Will it qualify FHA?
No.
No. Now, if you answer, which, by the way, we've had this answer, there we go. By the way, we've had this answer before, and the answer has been, you know, I've never seen the property. We have had one of our agents tell a shopper, I haven't seen the property before. That's a little problematic. Or, I've had our agents fake it and say, yes, I've seen the property, but then they ask about, you know,
Use the mouse too.
oh, thank you, much better. Okay, then they'll ask about, well, will the property qualify FHA? Keep in mind, these people already know the answers to this, okay? And we say yes or no or maybe, it just needs a little bit of work. I'm going to show you a secret shopper thing that we failed on. And we basically, our agent didn't know enough about the property. Who's been to the San Bernardino Avenue in Bloomington? A couple hands. House is boarded, it's a disaster, okay? We need to know that. So anyway, now that we're back in action here, first of all, 50%, 4 out of 8 on the website is failure. I'm not exactly sure what we failed on here. This is not your fault. This is my fault. This is Anna's fault. This is Drew's fault. We may have had not enough photographs on the website. There may have been some sort of a reason why they didn't particularly care for what we had on the website. But we got 140% on response. We got 7 out of 5. Somehow you get extra credit. And the response being, apparently I must have picked up the phone and or called these people back pretty quickly because they scored us 140%. I wish I could have done better on agent broker professionalism, but at least they said, hey, I got 11 out of 11. I was professional. Okay, great. I knew what I was talking about, apparently. Okay, I had 100% for knowledge. And by the way, they're not saying, do you know what the difference between a disclosure and a contract? I'm talking about the property. They're asking me questions about the property. My follow-up was against 7, and I'm not even, to be honest, I'm not happy with hundreds. I want 140s all over the place. And that's what I expect you guys to get. The follow-up meaning, again, I must have given them at least enough to get 100%, but maybe if I had sent one more email or made one more follow-up call, then I might have gotten 140% instead of 100%. The overall opinion, again, I'm happy. Other than the website, epic fail, you know, the overall opinion was pretty darn good. And the email was 0 out of 0. They didn't get scored on the email because apparently on this particular one they didn't send us an email. But on other ones we've gotten an email, and if we had gotten an email and didn't reply, then that would have been a problem. Or if we had sent a less than professional email. You guys don't have to worry too much about those. And then of course, I guess the phone call, so I must have sounded semi-reasonable on the telephone when I was talking. Okay, here we go. So here's the comments. Why there are quite a few pictures of the property that did not show the property in good condition. Okay, so that's probably why we failed on the website. To be honest with you, this is pretty hard to show this property in a favorable light. So if I have to justify to an asset manager a 50% on the website, I can live with that. This property is a turd. Okay, I mean there's only so much you can do for this. But at any rate, first impression how the outside picture was the house looked like a, well, it does look like a horse barn. They're 100% correct. House is in disrepair. Looked like they've been stripped. That's true. There was no fixtures. That's true. A lot of work. That's true. But now, text was poorly written. So whatever we said, we have another property. Apparently we had a typo.
Well, we didn't. Apparently they did.
They had a typo.
Yeah,
Who had a typo?
they did. That's their report to you.
Their comments.
Yeah, they're smart-ass comments, and they can't even do it correctly.
Oh,
They're grammatical
there were-
errors and stuff.
Sweet. Now the nice part about this is this goes to my asset manager as well. So, but at any rate, the photos were okay. If you received an email, Mr. Martin was honest and very forthcoming with respect to the condition. I told him it was a turd. Which, by the way, the truth will set you free, folks. Okay, we have a reputation in this business of, hey, I just got a listing and let's spruce up the comments a little bit. Well, let's take the pictures from the absolute best angle. We do that all the time, at least as far as taking pictures. But there's another one I'm going to show you. This is a property in, I can't remember what city it was in. But our comments in the MLS said property needs a little TLC.
Needs a
We
grenade.
got shopped. The shop said, this property needs more than TLC. It doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it's destroyed. Well, why would we do that? Why would me and Drew and Anna say the property needs TLC when it doesn't? There's nothing wrong with saying, which, and again, I'm patting myself on the back, I told him the house was a turd. This thing needs a lot of work. It's a mess. Now, having said that, if I had no information, by the way, there's this myth out there that I've never seen one property I've ever sold. Okay? Guys, I know my inventory. Okay? Am I doing drive-bys every single week? No. But do I know it? I know it because I'm afraid. I did for no other reason. I'm afraid someone's going to call me. And by the way, you guys have access to all these photos. At a minimum, if you're not driving by and taking a look at these, which should be the minimum, assuming that's not the minimum, take a look at the photos. At least take a look at the pictures on the website and the MLS, which is frankly what these people are doing. That's all they're doing. They're just taking a look at the pictures. Anyway, I told him the house was in bad shape, told him the nature of the neighborhood, professional in his demeanor and his approach to our conversation. All right, it's fair enough. Knowledge of comments. Mr. Martin told me the property needed considerable renovation. True. I was not in his office, which is why, by the way, there's nothing wrong. I love this quote. I told her I'm not in my office. I was unable to give her the specifics at that specific point in time, but he told me he would contact me later with more deals to return to the office. Da, 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 da. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have everything at the tip of your tongue. but you better have a general working understanding of these properties, okay? Especially if you're going to take those calls. We talk a lot about service areas and zip codes and all the rest of that sort of stuff. If you're going to take Leadrouter calls on these properties, it is unacceptable for you not to have a basic knowledge of these properties. Okay? And frankly, and by the way, the more you know about the properties, is it easier to sell them? Or is it also easier to decide, I don't want to work, I don't want to sell the property on fur. So the next time that buyer comes in, or in that particular neighborhood, you can refer that off and pass that off. Say, I don't want to deal with this one. This house is a mess. And you can tell the client that, you know what, this house is a mess. Be professional, give them your thing. You know, I'll tell you what, Chase in Moreno Valley would be more than happy to show you that property. Because Chase is working every day, he's working hard, and he doesn't mind selling the turds. Okay, but anyway, we got to be professional. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we had a couple other things. What else? Okay, that basically is it. So I don't know what the rest of this... stop. Asked about the availability of Homepath renovation mortgage and whether we provide construction financing. Who knows what Homepath is about? Where's our lender people today? There's nobody... Durana's not here? What about our Caliber folks? They're not here either? Just buying lunch and leaving. Okay.
I saw some of them here earlier.
There should be.
All right, well, one of the reasons we're here today is if you've never heard of Homepath financing before, you're going to get an education on Homepath financing today. On the Fannie Mae properties, Homepath is Fannie Mae's branded mortgage product. Okay? This gal specifically asked me about Homepath. If I had indicated less than basic understanding of what Homepath is, am I going to get a good score? Is there expectation that I know what Homepath is? Now again, if you don't know what Homepath is, that's okay today. That will not be okay tomorrow. Okay? And quite honestly, there's a lot of agents that are currently working under our umbrella that are taking these leads, and they might be asked the question about Homepath, and they're okay? And frankly, I've tolerated that for about 6 years. And literally, now I think if 5 more people walked in, after this meeting is over, there's going to be approximately 100 agents that are currently eligible to get Leadrouter leads that will no longer be eligible. They're just out, which is good for you guys. Because now your pool of agent competition is shrunk by 2/3. Having said that, if you're now eligible to get a lead, and I mean this in the absolute spirit I'm going to say it, if you mess up, you're out. So even though you're now in the tree of trust and the circle of love, this is a very mean tree, and this is a very unforgiving circle of love. Okay, if you cannot abide by these rules, you will be out of Leadrouter. Period. And you will have to beg to get back in. I think they should probably be in here. Okay, yeah. So at any rate, okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Homepath. All right, so with that being said, let me show you what really prompted this meeting. I don't remember the exact date, so bear with me. I'm going to have to... Boy, I really wish I had my computer here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, we've been shopped I think 8 times now. Let me see if I can get lucky.
So it's not like every third call.
Could be. Could be. I don't know. Don't think so, but could be. Hopefully this is the bad one. I don't have to pull up 6 more of these. Ah, bingo.
Thank you.
52%. Little problem. Joy, everybody Joy.
Hi, Joy Mansfield from Caliber Funding.
Okay. Okay, so pull up a chair.
Okay.
Make yourself comfortable. Unless you need to go.
No, not
Okay,
yet.
so here's another property. This is, which one is this? San Bernardino? San Bernardino Avenue, Bloomington? Oh, San Bernardino Bloomington. Who's seen San Bernardino Avenue, Bloomington? Debbie? Okay. Website, still had a little problem. Response, 3 out of 5. Agent, and by the way, Stephen Amaya, he got beat up at the last one. Stephen Amaya took this call. Now before you start grinning, good, got Stephen, stick him. All right. Steven, no, don't laugh too hard. Steven's closed more Leadrouter leads than anybody in this room, anybody in this office. Probably one of the best Leadrouter agents I have. And this is what I get. You think I'm afraid? One of the best Leadrouter agents I have failed. And not only did he fail, look at the professionalism. Am I liking that? 33% on professionalism, 50% on broker knowledge, 25% overall opinion. In my world, 60% overall opinion, isn't that a D minus? You know, do we still grade the kids in school? That's a D minus. I mean, that's base as far, that's an F. F plus D minus. This is the best closing agent we have in Leadrouter. Fails. And by the way, 52% is definitely an F, right? No doubt about it. So, am I a little nervous? Yeah, so if I sound a little harsh when it comes to this, to be honest with you, this really isn't about you guys. This is about me. This is self-preservation. I would rather shut Leadrouter down as it relates to all the Fannie and Freddie leads than lose my account. All right, just say, guess what? There's no more leads. You know, I'll take all of them. Or I'll just hire 2 agents. You guys are my new buyers team. I'm going to employ you. I'm going to pay you X amount of bucks an hour, and you're going to work for me, and this is what you're going to do. I'm going to listen to you answer every single phone call. And nobody else gets any of it. None of it. Anyway, here we go. Duplex. By the way, is this property a duplex? It's not a duplex. This is 2 on a lot. It's not a duplex. Needs some TLC. This is our comments. This is not Steven's fault. Property needs TLC. Come take a look. Based upon the photos, this is somebody sitting back in New Jersey making phone calls. The home needs a little more than TLC. We just talked about this, right? It's boarded, there's no cabinets, the kitchen's missing, it's a mess,
It's the same way.
Professionalism. Steve called, apologized for not getting back to me sooner. How long do we have to call back a lead? 10 minutes. Okay, I'll give you 15, but I like 10 better. If you have not heard this before, shame on us as managers. If your phone rings, which by the way, everybody knows there's a new phone number for Leadrouter, right? You need to save that in your phone. It's what, 877 something or whatever it is. Your phone rings, you accept the lead, you have no more than 15 minutes to call them back. If you cannot do that, you are not allowed to accept that lead, because that's what we, by the way, everybody knows Melissa and Sandy? Stand up, Melissa and Sandy. And we're missing who else we're missing, and that's not here. These are the call girls, okay? These are the folks that are answering these leads. They're the ones that are putting them into the system. They are telling, by my instructions, the consumer on the other end of the phone, an agent, a professional agent with Coldwell Banker Real Estate will call you back within 15 minutes. They're not saying an hour and 15 minutes. They're not saying 17 minutes. They're not saying later this afternoon or tomorrow. They're saying within 15 minutes. Okay? So, moving forward, if I see anybody, there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. You should always be able to call back within 15 minutes, because that's the rule. If you can't, don't pick up the phone. Okay? So anyway, we didn't call back in a timely fashion. From there, he looked up the property. At first, he thought it was not in our market. Then he located it. It was very rushed. Rushed. You guys don't get rushed though, right? You've never been rushed? He was very rushed to the process. Then he pulled up the information. He informed me that it was a duplex, which it's not. With 3 and 1 side on it. I don't know what that means. That means maybe bedroom count.
Yeah.
He said it was only eligible for Homepath renovation or cash, which is probably true. Knowledge and comments. When asked him specific questions about the property, I'm just having a technological fail today. Okay. When asked him specific questions, he informed that he actually had not seen the property. Okay. Now, I do not want you to lie, but I do not ever want you to tell anybody you haven't seen the house. So you figure out a way to work yourself around that. Now, better yet, how about we go out and preview some property? Okay, we don't have that much inventory right now. Okay, so and by the way, I'll tell you where this is heading. Right now, we're going to have, it looks like we're going to have about 50 people on the Leadrouter team. depending on who floats to the top of that team, there probably will be 10 that are on the Fannie Mae Leadrouter team. And those 10, it could be 50, but those agents who are going to commit to me that they're going to take a look and preview every single property and answer the call in a timely fashion and speak with some education, they're going to be on the Fannie team. Who wants to be on the Fannie team? Well, the rest of you should leave the room. I don't know what you're doing here. I mean, unless you're just, don't want to feel like raising your hand. 75% of the leads we get are Fannie Mae leads and the Freddies. And by the way, if you're on the Fannie team, you think you're going to be my favorite? You are, because you're doing the best job with these leads. This is business, by the way. If you're coming here to get pumped up and rah-rah, there's going to be nothing rah-rah about this meeting. This is going to be money. This is going to be business. We're going to make sure we're getting this straight. So anyway, the bottom line is, this is why we're here. Now, having said that, let's pretend for a moment that I was never being secret shopped and everything's cool with Leadrouter. Everybody's doing what they need to be doing in Leadrouter. Maybe from your perspective there is, but from my perspective, we've got quite a bit of work to do. Let me pull up some leads here, and while hopefully I can type and chew gum at the same time. I'm gonna go back into see what works. Okay, in Leadrouter, what we up until 2 weeks ago, there is, if you own a brokerage or you manage a real estate company, there's basically 3 things that they teach us to do. They teach us to recruit agents, they teach us to train you, and they teach us to retain you. Okay? We're going to recruit you, we're going to train you, and we're going to retain you. Part of retention is to train you, give you a good office environment to work in, make sure your phones work and you like the Global Banker logo, your broker's good, your manager's good, you feel like your business, this is your business by the way, that your business can thrive in an environment underneath my business or as part of my business. So we've looked at Leadrouter as a retention tool more than anything else. We want you to stay here, and one of the reasons we want you to stay here is because of Leadrouter. Therefore, we've allowed every agent, irrespective of their quality and ability, to stay on Leadrouter. By the way, if you guys have questions, stop. Okay? So if we had an agent who wasn't any good, I'll pick on Carlos because he is good. Okay? Carlos isn't any good, we don't know him at all. But you know what? That's okay. We're just going to keep giving him leads because we want to retain him. Okay? Then we've got someone like Tom. Let's say Tom's fantastic. Well, the ability for you to get leads is you're on equal footing as Carlos. Okay? You're great, you're not. But for 6 years now, we've made no distinction between your ability to maintain, be professional, call the leads back, do a good job, close them, God forbid. And we basically just said, everyone's going to go. Okay. That's changing literally today at 3 o'clock at the end of this meeting. Okay. Now, we're going to do, frankly, what we probably should have done 6 years ago. And quite honestly, for those of you that are in this room, you should have big smiles on your face. Okay? Because if you were getting 1 or 2 leads a week or 1 or 2 leads a month, you should now get about 3 times as many. Because you're not going to be competing with, frankly, Carlos, so to speak. Okay? Because frankly, Carlos is good, and he knows what he's doing, and he actually does the leads the way we want him to. But we're no longer going to basically use this as a retention tool. And I very well may upset some agents. It's very possible that we're going to have some agents that are going to be upset in the office. And I've made a conscious business decision that tough. Just too bad. Because there's too much money at stake. And I'll give you an example. I won't pull it up. By the way, this Leadrouter looks a little different than your lead. I'm on the administration side. By the way, there's no dead leads anymore, right? They're cold now. They don't call them dead anymore. 10 of them need reassignment for some reason. Somebody sent them back, what have you. But one of the reasons that I just lost my train of thought. Help me out here. What was I going to say? All right, well, let me go in a different direction. There's so much material to cover, I'm sure I'll remember it.
I have a question maybe you can take on. How do we get our incubated leads back?
Back?
Yeah, they're gone. I can't find them unless somebody else knows where to get them.
Gone. Okay, I don't know, but that's pretty important. Who else is missing incubated leads? Tom's the only one.
The only one?
Okay. There very well may be a setting issue, or maybe you're the only one who's actually in the system. Entirely possible. Let me make sure you get me an email or talk to Ann after the meeting. We'll take a look at it. There are some glitches and some bugs going on. Chase brought something to me earlier about some phones calling and being dead.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
And that's the other thing too, is that I know that it was emphasized during a lot of the training about the DNC do not call.
Right.
And a lot of the ones I get say do not call this number.
You can
so
call.
I'm kinda like,
You can call every single one of these
I
people.
just wanted to hear from you. That's,
You can call.
that's good.
Don't. The do not. This is the difference between do not call. Who cold calls in the office? Good. You don't have to worry about it then. Okay. Back in the day, when we used to cold call, you used to be able to pick up the phone book. You could call anybody you want. Then they put the do not call list together, and there's like, oh my God, great reason for realtors not to cold call anymore. And then we got the do not call list. Everybody in here, whether it says they're on the do not call list or not, we can call because they called us first.
They instigated. Okay.
They're the instigators. That's right.
Initiated.
They initiated, or I like instigated. They instigated the lead, and we can call all of these people. We can call all of them as many times as we want. Okay, even if they say don't call me anymore.
Really?
Sure, you can incubate them, put them in 6-7 months later. Keep in mind, why did they call us? They probably called us because they want to buy a house. Most of these are signed calls to buyers. Are you going to catch somebody on occasion that says, I'm not really interested right now, just leave me alone? And then you call them back in 6 months. Say you called our office, 6-7 months ago, you expressed some interest. Just thought we'd give you a call back and see if anything's changed. Is it possible you're going to get a different answer from them?
Oh, yeah.
It's entirely possible. And if they say, I'm on the do not call list and you just violated it. Does anybody know anybody that's been prosecuted for calling on the do not call list? I know we're taping this right now, but they instigated
They
it,
instigated.
so we're going to instigate back. All right? Okay. Okay, so at any rate, we're in Leadrouter. The whole premise of this is we're changing the business philosophy of Leadrouter. We're no longer, from my side of the desk, we're no longer going to say Leadrouter is a retention tool. We're going to turn this into Leadrouter is a money-making tool. And the agents who are professional and participating and doing a good job, frankly, I think this should be good for between 2 and 6 transactions between now and December 31st for all of you. Not just for 1 or 2 of you. There's at least 2 or 3 or 4 transactions in the next 6 months just based upon these leads that are coming through Leadrouter right now. So, with that in mind, a couple of things. Well, is it basically clear? I could go on for another hour about this, but I want to try to wrap this up in the next hour and 20 minutes. So do you generally understand the difference between what we've been doing and where we're going? Okay. And this is going to be a little bit of hardball. Right now, you guys, again, you're in the circle of love. You're in the 50 agents that are eligible to get leads. I am not saying that you sneeze once or a lead goes red and you're out. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want anybody freaking out here and says, oh geez, I had a lead that was red for 6 hours and now Lance is going to throw me off the team. I'm not going to do that. If you have 12 leads that are red for 3 days in a row, yes, you're out. If I get reports that you don't know anything about my properties and you're not answering the phone, or are you guys still scrubbing the calls at night, or have we kind of fallen off that a little bit?
No, I try to, as much as I can.
As much as possible. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't do it as religiously as we should, but maybe let me share something with you. We get, let's see how many leads have come in. Actually, I don't want to go down that route. Let's suppose we get 6 leads that come in today. Between 6 and 8 o'clock, it's a little slower in the office. The call girls, whoever's working the late shift, goes through Leadrouter and calls, and goes down the list. Hello, George. This is Melissa with Coldwell Banker. You called our office earlier about 123 Main Street, and it appears as though you were assigned to Tom. I just wanted to call, make sure that Tom gave you a call back. You guys know we do that? Do you know how many times, what percentage of those people say, Tom never called me back?
I would say like 60%
Wow.
of the time.
Did you hear that?
I got 2 calls this week saying that no one.
Or it's even worse than that. Forget about us calling them. George calls in the morning and says, I really need information. Sandy says, someone will call you back in 15 minutes. Then 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 hours later, George calls back. Hey, I called this morning. You said someone was going to call me back. Girls go in the system. They see that it was assigned to Tom. No notes, no nothing. If that happens, you're out. And quite honestly, I'm going to say this out loud, I'm probably going to fire you from the office. Oops. Out of the system, here's your license. Because you're not in the real estate business. Are we in the real estate business, or are we playing? Are we playing real estate? Are we coming here to play solitaire and use my copy machine? And by the way, this is simple. If you're too busy, to use the example I just gave you, if Tom is too busy to call George back within 15 minutes, don't accept the call. Now, some of you in this room may be saying, Lance, I am just confused. I don't know what you're talking about. I just thought this was all understood, and this is what I do all the time. Of course I call them right back. Well, that's why we have 50 people eligible, and we have 100 people who aren't. Because there's 100 of your associates that are sitting next to you in your office right now that do the example that I just gave. And they're out. And to be honest with you, I probably need to hand them their licenses back. Because they're not in the business, not doing anything. I asked this question in Claremont earlier today. It's a trick question. If you were in Claremont, you're not allowed to answer. Let's just pretend for a moment. Well, let's give the real numbers. Inland Valley Association of Realtors, there's about 3,500 realtor members in Inland Valleys Association. I know some of you belong to Citrus, and if you're from Redlands, maybe you belong to East Valley. But anyway, 3,500 members. Of those 3,500 members, how many of them would you say, of the bottom, well, let me, how can I phrase this without tricking the question? What's the average number of closings a realtor does in a 12-month period?
2.
Out of 2. Anybody higher or lower?
I would hope higher.
You would hope higher? Okay, now I may be defining average improperly, but let's use my Inland Valleys example again. 3,500 members. Let's cut that in half. Okay, so that's 1,750 members, right? 1,750 of the 3,500 in the last 12 months have closed 0 transactions. 0 transactions. Did you get that? 0. Okay? Are these people in business? No. Not in business. Are they picking up the phone on occasion? Are they wasting leads? Yes. Some of those people work for us. Okay? Oh, shocking. So at any rate, we're going to make a change. We're going to make a change. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to segue a little bit off of, again, any more specific questions as far as the policy we got here? Everyone's kind of got this down. I hope I'm not presented it in too heavy-handed of a way. Michael?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Leadrouter also performs on our listings, correct? And those leads are to be delivered directly to the agents
That is
that have them listed.
correct. Absolutely.
So even if you're red balled on your stuff, it's still...
Thank you very much for clarifying that. And that's one of the reasons it becomes sort of a challenge for me. Leadrouter is all things to all people. When I'm talking about the office company Leadrouter, that's all I'm talking about right now, is the company leads that come through Leadrouter. Mike takes listings, okay? If Mike has a listing, and by the way, you can set up your own little Leadrouter world all to yourself, okay? Any lead that comes through coldwellbanker.com, or maybe Mike has some of his websites linked to coldwellbanker.com, those flow into the system, and they flow to Mike, okay? They don't go through the 170 agents in the office. Those are Mike's leads. He can do whatever he wants with them. And I am not talking about if Mike gets on the blacklist, he's still eligible to get his own leads. He can still do his own thing with his own leads. Even if he's red, he'll get his own leads, okay? You can have your own team. If you're a strong listing agent and you kind of like the concept of what we're doing here, you can have your own team. I'll use Mike again as an example. Let's suppose Mike's got 15 listings, but he hates working with buyers. All he wants to do is work with the buyer's agent. But he wants Herman and Debbie to work on his buyer's team, okay? So Mike, within Leadrouter himself, can set up, and all you have to do is ask, guys. I've been talking about this for years. For most of you, it's probably the first time you've heard it. But Mike can say, Lance, I want my own buyer's team in Leadrouter. Herman and Debbie are going to be my buyer's agents. Every lead that comes in that has a Mike Boab listing on it, and by the way, the call girls don't even have to know about this. Somebody calls in, I'm interested in 123 Main Street. Girls don't know anything about 123 Main Street. They click it, they click auto route. The system says 123 Main Street is Mike Boab's listing. Mike Boab has 2 agents on his team, and it will route that lead through Mike to Herman and Debbie, Herman and Debbie, Herman and Debbie, until back and forth. The same exact concept. And then at the end of the month, Mike can do the same thing that I'm doing. He can sit back and pull up a report and find out whether Herman and Debbie are answering the phone, calling the leads back, and then he can decide whether Herman and Debbie are good buyer's agents or whether they need to be kicked out of the tree of love and they need to be replaced by, hey Chase, guess what, batter up, Herman's out. And you guys can do that individually. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. I'm talking about office leads. They're strictly company leads. You guys still get your own leads. And by the way, they're your leads. We're not talking about that. You can run those through Leadrouter, and even if I've cut you off with my Leadrouter, so to speak. Is that clear? Okay. All right. Nobody does it though. No, nobody's doing that. Okay, I'm going to take you to our website real quick. Since I'm in Moreno Valley, I'm just going to type in CB Moreno Valley. If I was in Claremont, I would type in CB Claremont, or Redlands, CB Redlands, or CB PRE, or CBTC SoCal, or blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. This is getting back to the leads that are coming through the system. Okay. We have a couple of relationships that we've established recently. By the way, I clicked on financing and get pre-qualified. Okay, this is on our website. We have a few lenders on this list. Coldwell Banker and PHH aren't here. I'm shocked because I invited them and they decided not to come, which is interesting. But Joy with Caliber is here. So on our website, you're going to see some logos. Now we're going to resize this a little bit. This Homepath logo, Brian just redid this like yesterday and it's a little bit too big. But at any rate, if somebody, this is mandatory in the context of Leadrouter leads that are coming through the office and are calling on the Fannie Mae properties. This is mandatory. Okay, I am now a consumer. I'm calling in. I get a hold of George. Like, George, I'm interested in 123 Main Street. You happen to know it's a Fannie Mae property. Great, you give me the information, everything's going along swimmingly. Maybe I ask you, maybe I don't. I'm like, hey, I've heard something about this Homepath stuff. I'm interested in getting more information. You guys should have a basic understanding of Homepath. Talk to Coldwell Banker. Frankly, you can talk to Joy because they're kind of doing Homepath on a round the back door basis. Or go to homepath.com. There's an 8.5 by 11 Q&A. It takes you 3 minutes to read it. 3% down payment, no mortgage insurance, no appraisal, no cost. I mean, if you just know those 4 things, you know enough. Yeah, it's a really nice program. There's no appraisal. There's no closing costs. There's no MIP. It's 3% down. Little bit harder to qualify than a standard FHA. The conditions are rates a little bit higher. But if you know that, you know more than enough to get by the secret shopper. Okay? But this is the deal. Let's forget about the secret shoppers. I'm talking buyers. If you have a buyer that you're making a connection with, at some point you're going to ask the question, oh, and by the way, have you been qualified? And specifically, if they're going down the Homepath path, you need to come here. And this is mandatory. I don't expect you to send the buyer here, although you could. You could send the buyer here. And by the way, there's 2 different, let me go back to this. There's 2 different Homepath approved, by the way, there's about 40 different Homepath approved lenders. Okay? We have been in the past struggling, and we were trying to use Prospect a little bit. Then frankly, Joy and Sharon came in with MetLife, and I was excited because MetLife was on the Homepath approved, and we were going to put something together, and I was going to have a big MetLife logo up here. But then MetLife did its thing 2 months ago and it's imploded. So at any rate, there was 40. Sorry. Anyway, there was 40 Homepath approved lenders. PHH and Coldwell Banker Mortgage are on the list. They're approved. Now, I had another slide which is on my computer, which obviously I don't have. Who's ever heard of PHH? Good. Well, good that only a couple hands went up. PHH is the 4th largest residential mortgage lender in the country that nobody's ever heard of. Okay, and the reason nobody's ever heard of them is because PHH really doesn't do business under the PHH flag. PHH does business as Coldwell Banker Mortgage. They do business as Century 21 Mortgage. They do business as Provident Mortgage in Florida. If you get a loan, everybody have an American Express card? Well, you ever get a solicitation from them and say, hey, you might consider American Express Mortgage to refi your house? Well, guess who that is? It's PHH. It's not American Express Mortgage. There is no such thing as American Express Mortgage. It's as is, there's really no such thing as Coldwell Banker Mortgage. Everything they do is under the PHH banner. So the reason I've got 2 different logos up there is because if I'm a consumer and I'm talking to George, and I know that George works at Coldwell Banker, I may or may not want to get approved by a Coldwell Banker. I may, number one, think it's a good thing. Hey, George, Coldwell Banker Mortgage is Coldwell Banker. Maybe that's a good thing, and maybe that's going to help you get my offer accepted. So if the consumer thinks that that's a good thing, that's going to be up to you and the consumer to figure out, then I want you to say, okay, great, I'm going to connect you with Coldwell Banker Mortgage, or they could do this themselves. They're going to come, I'm not going to fill this out, but I'm going to put in Lance Martin, here's my number, here's my email, and George is going to put George, entered by George Lawson. I'm working with Lance. Click yes, it's going to get submitted. Once that's submitted, I'm going to get an email, and either Joanna or Rick are going to get my contact information that says that George referred them to, and again, this is on call center leads that are coming through on Fannie's that are interested in Homepath. Mandatory. Now, if George and I are talking, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't know about this, George. I've never heard of this Coldwell Banker Mortgage or blah, blah, blah. And that doesn't seem like a conflict of interest. You're with Coldwell Banker, they're with Coldwell Banker. Then you're going to say, okay, great. Then I'll tell you what, we'll send you to PHH. But keep in mind, these are on Fannie Mae's approved list. Okay, this is what Fannie Mae says. You go to one of these 30 or 40 lenders. Now we're going to go to PHH. You're going to do the exact same thing. And now the consumer is going to be dealing with PHH. The bottom line is this is for all Homepath financing questions. All Homepath. This is very important. If you remember that one secret shopper specifically asked about Homepath and Homepath renovation, if you guys aren't the pro and you don't know all of that stuff, where are you going to send them? You got to send them to a Homepath. Now, as much as Joy is just over there, oh, I can do Homepath. Who sat in our meetings where Ed Hoffman's son Ryan says, hey, we're Homepath approved? Okay, well, they're not. They're what do you guys call it? You're not brokering. There's a word for what you're doing.
Not brokering.
Anyway, if Drew was here, he would tell me. I'm losing it. At any rate, but you're not on the list. That's the point. These guys are on the list, so this is who we're going to do business with on the Homepath stuff. Now, one of the reasons I've asked Joy to come in here is we've got some other lenders in here. Before I get to Caliber and Joy, this is mandatory. You get a lead through Leadrouter. It's on one of our REO properties. It's not a Fannie Mae, but now it's a Chase. Okay? Have you guys seen the ones? What does it say if you're going to write an offer on the Chase? What do you got to do?
Chase approval.
You got to get cross-qualified through Chase. Okay? I don't care if you have a great relationship with your person at Chase, that's fine. You can keep that relationship with Chase. But if the lead comes through Leadrouter, and it's on one of my Chase REO properties, it is mandatory that you come here and you go to the Chase button and you put in buyer's first name, buyer's last name. And the reason that is the folks at Chase, right now our Chase inventory is pretty low. I think we've got maybe 8, which by the way, to my shock, I didn't think we did that much business. We were the #1 REO broker on Chase properties in 2011 in the city of Rio Valley. When they told me that, I thought they made a mistake because we didn't close that much. I mean, maybe closed maybe 15 of them. I figured there had to be somebody that did more than that. But at any rate, what is Chase requiring their REO brokers to do?
Pre-qual.
They're not only trying to get pre-qual, they want recapture. Chase says, you're my REO broker. I expect you to recapture a certain number of those sales. Those buyers need to go to, not only need to go to the, as a matter of fact, they're really playing fast and loose with how much pressure they're putting on these deals. but they want those buyers on a Chase REO to get a Chase loan, okay? And this is what they're doing to me. Every month I get an email, and they're saying, which by the way, if this wasn't being dictated by my account, I could care less about this, okay? But I get an email every month from Chase, and it says, okay, this month, how many leads did you send over to your Chase rep on the Chase REOs? I don't know. 1, 0, 7. I don't have no way of knowing. So I've been faking it. I think we did 6. Okay? I can't fake it anymore. Okay? So this is why we need to go in here. It's the same thing. You click on the button. I want to be able to say we sent over 17. And not only did we send them over, here's their names and here's their phone numbers, and these are the people that we sent to your Chase loan reps. The bottom line is, if I don't do that, what's going to happen to my Chase account? It's going to go. This is a team, guys. This is not me dictating where you guys are going to do your business. This is, if we want to get these leads from these accounts, we got to play by their rules. We got to play by the Homepath rules. We got to play by the Chase rules. Now, to be honest with you, B of A requires a cross-qual. Who can get a pre-qual out of B of A? Anybody? Mike's the only one?
I got one.
Well, you need to let me know who it is, because if you click on the B of A button, it goes into the abyss, because I don't know who to send anybody to. I can't get a B of A pre-qual to save my life. They're not as hardcore. We have very little Wells Fargo stuff. They're not as hardcore. And then, of course, now we've got Caliber and Joy. Joy, by the way, thank you for lunch, Joy.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
If you don't know Joy, and I don't do commercials for lenders, although it may sound like I just did a commercial for lenders. This is not a commercial for a lender. This is me saying, you want to get the leads, use them, because if we don't use them, there'll be no more leads. That's really what this is about. If you don't do this, there will be no more leads to get. So, which is why we need to support this. Having said that, back in the day with Joy's, is she your boss?
She's the manager.
Sharon Smith used to work at Countrywide, and I just love Sharon to death. She did a great job when she was there, and just walked on water, her and Scott Riley and the gang. And Sharon left there, and she went to Providence too, didn't she? She went to Providence, she bounced around here or there. And anyway, Sharon and Joy came to me a few months back at MetLife, and I wanted them to be up here with the Homepath approved lenders. And MetLife fell apart, they rolled back down here to Caliber, so we're basically trying to develop a relationship with Caliber. Not trying, we're developing a relationship with Caliber. And I've said, come on in, help us out. Having said that, you know how many lenders I've invited into this office to say, come on in and help us out?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. You know how many have helped us out?
2, 3,
Not
maybe.
many. Not many. So we're going to see, but I would like you guys to try her out, you know, see how Joy does on these things. Now keep in mind, right now, and you guys I know are working on changing this, right now, it's anything other than the Homepath.
Are those tabs active like these two on
Yeah,
the top?
they are.
Okay.
The one with Chase, Brian needs to fix it. If you click on Chase, it actually takes you to Mario Martinez's website. I'm going to change that. Mario Martinez, the Chase branch here in Rio Valley, he is our assigned loan officer with Chase. But I don't want it to do that. What I want it to do, I'll click on the Caliber one.
Let's just have the same thing.
When you click on Caliber, it's going to take you to the little fill-in list. You fill it out, and then it's going to go directly. Does it go to you, or does it go to Sharon? It goes to Sharon. Okay. And then we're going to basically be able to track that, see where those leads go. Okay. Now, keep in mind, and Mike will back me up on this, we have never been in an office who has had mandatory anything. I've never had an office where I've said, you will use ABC Mortgage, and you will use XYZ Title, and you will use this, and you will use that. And that is still the case. Anybody can come in here. I know we all have a relationship with different mortgage, escrow, title. Our office is open. Our office will always be open. You can use whoever you want on all of your own business, except I need your support when it comes to the Leadrouter leads. Okay? Specifically the Leadrouter Fannie leads, specifically the Leadrouter Chase leads, and so on and so forth. Okay? I know Supreme has a relationship, and if you saw Supreme's, you know, I haven't mentioned Tony, but you know, Tony's logo is you know, we need to pump it up a little bit because he kind of gets lost at the bottom. If you guys love Tony, by the way, forget the tape is on. Do you love Tony?
Yes, we do.
You do? Okay. All right, well, if you do, then use him. Okay? If Tony's your guy and he's doing a good job for you, use him. However, even though Tony says, and even though Joy says, we can do Homepath, no, they can't. Because if Joy or Tony give me a pre-qualification letter that says they're Homepath approved, and it's on Caliber letterhead or Supreme Funding letterhead, my asset manager will say, throw it in the trash.
They're correspondence, aren't they?
That's the word.
That's the word. I knew it was a C word.
Correspondent.
What about the Freddie stuff?
Right now, this doesn't apply to Freddie.
Okay.
Freddie doesn't have the magic Homepath type deal. So on the Freddie stuff, you don't have to, this doesn't apply. Okay? And frankly, the Freddie stuff is, you know, there's a fair number of leads there. So, okay, so are we clear? Does this sound a little dictatorial? Are you guys kind of with me, or? I really don't want this to be a Lance's jamming this down my throat. Honestly, I feel like I'm doing this out of survival. I want to continue to do Fannie and Freddie business and Chase business down the road, which helps push income into the office and help push income and leads into your guys' pocket. If we all play ball with this, those leads are going to be around for years to come. And quite honestly, I think not only will they be around for years to come, we're going to be able to, frankly, leverage even more business out of this. And again, specific, to be honest with you, Fannie Mae does not track how many loans are done Homepath. Who's written a Homepath offer? A couple of you? Have you closed one? Closed with Homepath financing? Well, if you have, you're in rare air, because there's not a lot of people who have actually written, had it accepted, and actually closed a Homepath loan. And you know what? The best I can tell, Fannie Mae could care less. But when they're looking for, they love to see those pre-quals. Love to see the Homepath pre-quals. Chase, on the other hand, not only do they care a lot. They want that business to the point where they're aggressively, I mean, they're basically telling us flat out, if we don't send buyers to them on the Chase inventory, we're fired. We're fired. No more Chase inventory. Done. So.
And is that same edict with the Chase reps? Because these bank reps sometimes are just miserable to
Well,
deal
that's,
with.
okay, thank you, Mike. I'll pay you your $20 afterwards. That's why when we click on these logos, that's why, and by the way, I don't expect the consumer to go here. If you send the consumer and say, hey, you know, go to our website and click on this and fill in your information and Joy will call you back, whatever it happens to be, that's fine. Do you think the consumers are going to do this? The consumers are not going to do this. You are going to do this, okay? And the reason I want you to do this, and I want you to put your name right in here, is exactly because of what Mike said. Let's pick on Joy, because she's in the room. I'm trying to develop a strong relationship with Caliber. Let's suppose we're all trying to support that relationship with Caliber, and we've sent over 25 leads this month to Joy. And then at the end of the month, I talked to Sharon, and she's like, well, you guys aren't supporting us. I don't know what you're talking about. We sent over 25 leads. The problem is not with us. The problem is with Joy. Joy's the one who can't close them, you know. So when it comes back to the Chase and all these others, I want to be able to sit back to kind of address Mike's deal and say, hey, we gave your loan rep 30 leads this month for Chase. It's not our fault that they can't close them. We need a new loan rep, Mario Martinez, who Mario's done a fine job for us, but you know, our loan rep of the day isn't cutting the mustard. They're the ones that are the problem. So, which is why I really, and again, I hate saying the word mandatory, but when we're talking about the Leadrouter leads, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you guys to go in and support this. And kind of like, as much as I hate it, it's kind of like whenever I get that email from Chase at the end of the month that says, hey, how many leads did you get and how many leads did you send over to Chase? I'm going to kind of do the same thing with you guys. I'm going to sit back and say, hey, Tom, you got 6 leads this month and it looked like they were all on Fannie Mae properties. How many of them did you push into to the Homepath financer? How many of them did you give to Joy? Or how many of those Chase did you give to Chase? And if the answer is, well, geez, Lance, I kind of forgot how the website worked, and I don't even remember what to do, you're out. You're out. I'm sorry, you're out. I can't have it. So, okay, believe it or not, I'm actually almost done. So we might get out of here a little bit early. Okay, so we covered the website, we covered the deal. I see a lot of faces that I'm not quite able to read them exactly, whether I don't see a lot of smiles, I see a lot of frowns. Tom's smiling, I'll answer his question.
We'll give you a scenario. So if I'm out showing property and a phone call comes in,
Yep.
and maybe they're ahead of me or behind me or something, I've got that gap of time to pick up the call just to see what it is on the surface.
Yep.
So I pick it up and I answer. I hit one. You know, it's not a voicemail. That's fine. It goes through the whole thing.
Yep.
But I'm engaged with these other buyers that I've committed my time to, and for whatever reason, I know I'm not going to get to in 5-10 minutes.
Right. Don't pick up the phone.
Well, that too. But the other option I was trying to think of is if I can give it to my partner and have her run with it while I'm doing properties.
Okay.
But she can't log into my lead router and make sure the updates and changes and all that happens. How do I communicate that to you or make sure, hey, you know
Well,
what?
this is the
It
deal.
came to me, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Do you understand what
I understand exactly what
Okay.
you're saying. If you have a partner, I don't care who calls the lead back.
Yeah, because
If-
it
if-
just wouldn't
is-
reflect on mine.
Is Lucy your partner?
Yeah.
I thought you were her partner.
Okay.
Hey.
It's reciprocal. Yeah.
All right,
So
this is the deal.
Speaking of reset.
If you can't, okay, you don't want to let the lead go
Right.
because you don't want to let the lead go. I get
Right.
that. Call
Wanna
handling.
make some minions.
Okay, here we go. This is the deal. Call center says you have to answer the call in 15 minutes, right? Or it shouldn't, you have to call back within 15 minutes. You can't do it, you flip it over to Lucy. Lucy calls back, hey, blah, 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 you got it. And by the way, I'm not expecting you to drop everything on your planet and say the client is there, hey, you have to meet me at the property right this moment, and blah, 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 blah. You're professionals, you deal with that. Get their name, get their phone number, call them. I'm really sorry, I can't meet you over there in the next 15 minutes. Take some time on that call and schedule the appointment for later in the day or tomorrow, whatever you gotta do. Okay, now some of those, that's not gonna work. They're gonna be unreal, they're gonna say, never, I gotta get in and click, and they're gonna call Sandy back and say, your agent wanna show it to me. Having said that, if they're just that hardcore where they can't set up a follow-up appointment at a time that works for you, then actually you need to manage that. You know what, I can't do this right now. Why don't you just hold tight, I'm gonna get back to my office, I'm gonna see if I can get somebody who can meet you over at the property. Okay? I'm gonna flip that back to the girls, they're gonna take a look at that, and they might not put it in Leadrouter. They might look out at the bullpen, say, hey, anybody can run up to, Willow Bend in the next 20 minutes to meet these people? And we're gonna do that. Old-fashioned up desk, okay? But if you wanna do, and flip it over to Lucy, she makes the call, that's fine. These are the rules. And the first rule is not on here. Call them back in 15 minutes. You then have 8 hours from the time that your phone rings to log into Leadrouter and put in a note. 8 hours. Yep.
If she develops a report, let's say for example, it's a different language or for whatever reason, it's just gonna have to go through her. Can I assign it to her, or do I have to just keep
You can't
reporting
assign
back?
her direct. You guys are separate users in Leadrouter?
Yeah, so she has to tell me, and I have to type it in, update it. She tells me, communicates, I type it in, update
The
it.
administrator can change the
Well, we
assignment.
could. You
I
could flip
figured
it back
you
to
could, yeah,
us.
just-
But if you guys, okay, well,
I
if you're
didn't-
gonna work as kind of a team, then you could, but you're gonna have 2 separate Leadrouters?
Mhm.
Okay, well, if you wanna flip it over, then you need to flip it back to me or to Anna and say, hey, please, my mom's
With a
working
note
this
in
one,
it,
flip it
yeah.
over to Lucy. Okay?
Got it.
Or if you're in a more traditional team where maybe you have an assistant, well, then they're gonna log into your lead, you're gonna have Lucy's gonna log into your lead router, and she's gonna manage it that way. Okay? But these are the rules, 8 hours. So from the time, this is to keep you green in Leadrouter. Your phone rings, you accept the lead, you don't have to log into the system just like that, okay? You can, go grab my iPad out here. It's in my bag in the office. You don't have to log into the system right away, okay? You have to do 8 hours. Having said that, who has an iPhone? You got the iPhone app?
Do it from there.
Who's got the iPhone app on Leadrouter? Is it slick? How slick is it? I'm going to show you on the iPad because it's a little easier to see. But there is a Leadrouter app that works on your iPhone and your iPad. It looks like that. It's like a globe. Actually, it's not an iPad app. It's an iPhone app, hence the smallness. There it is. There's a Leadrouter on your phone. There's a Leadrouter on your iPad. I think I got it on my phone.
How do you get that?
You go to the App Store and you type in Leadrouter. You download it. It's free. There it is. Leadrouter on my phone. I'm not showing property. I log myself in. There's my lead. I update it. Set an appointment. Call in tomorrow. Da, 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 da. All mobile. Who does not have a smartphone?
I got a crackberry.
Be honest. You don't have a smartphone? You're probably not going to be on my Leadrouter team. Got it. I'm telling you. If you've got an old Motorola flip phone, Probably not gonna survive on my Leadrouter team.
So
Yep.
that's an iPhone only, so Android, for instance.
Android has them as well. I believe Android has them as well. Go to their app store and search it. Okay. I'm not saying you have to buy an iPhone, but I'm pretty sure with the BlackBerries and the Androids they work just fine. So anyway, so here's Leadrouter right there on your telephone and on your iPad. So going back to those rules, you've got 8 hours to do it first. If you're on your phone, how easy is that? Okay. Then it's 4 days. So after you update that lead the first time, it's going to go red again in 4 days, right? And maybe you guys didn't know that. Maybe you're just like wondering, when is it going to happen? What's this mythical red? Then it's 10 days after the 4th day, and then every 30 days after that. Every 30 days, even if you're incubating it. So if you've got a lead that they've told you point blank, I am out of the country, I will not be returning until January of 2013, and you've got them incubated, and you put a note in there, they're not returning until January, they're going to go red in 30 days. You need to just put something there. I sent them an email, just let them know I'm alive, which would be the good thing to do, right? If someone today tells you, you know, I'm not going to buy for 9 months, do you wait for 9 months to call them? Of course not. So you send them, send them. By the way, who's played with the drip campaigns on Leadrouter? You like them? Pretty slick. Set it and forget it, right? Yeah, they're pretty, and you can customize them. Yeah, pretty cool.
I need to set it up.
Michael,
When I first came here, I was told that it was not being used.
what was to use? What was not
The
used?
drip system,
Well, there was no drip system up until 2 weeks ago.
and therefore but I would like it to. I like to use it, so
Okay. Okay. Well, just to
I
be
can
clear,
sign up for it. in other
There
words.
was there's nothing to sign up for. There was no drip campaign in Leadrouter prior to the new launching of Leadrouter, which was now what, 2-3 weeks ago? Now there is, and again, I'm not really prepared to do a Leadrouter class, but let me know where they're at. Actually, I'm into the admin. I don't think it's going to show up this way. Anyway, now, matter of fact, the system is almost forcing you to put them on a drip campaign, right?
Yes.
So go in and customize them. Stephen and Maya was complaining that, well, they're very Coldwell Bankery. Okay. All right, I get it. Well, if you want them to be more Stephen and Maya-y, then go in and tweak them, and which I get. I mean, let's face it. I mean, I'm really committed to Coldwell Banker. You guys are as well, but I'd be lying to if I wasn't saying be sure to protect your own brand. Brand Lance. That way, if I don't like Coldwell Banker anymore, I don't want to be so tied to the Coldwell Banker brand that if I decided to go to Remax, nobody knows Lance. You guys do need to market yourself. That's Steven's point.
It's also not as sterile.
Absolutely. So yeah, so put your face on there. You can put your name on there. I think it lets you put your own little logo and dancing bears and all the rest of that stuff. So, but at any rate, the drip campaigns are nice, but they didn't. I'm not sure who told you that didn't. You must have been in a different context.
When I first got here, Shelly introduced me to the system. She says, go into it, but the drip system is not available, or not. Nobody does it. Nobody uses it in the office.
Okay, well,
so we're not allowing it to be used or something.
I don't know what conversation you were having. There was a misunderstanding with that. But the new system has drip campaign. Okay. And use it. I mean, it sounds like we got at least one of you that are using it. I will tell you, we are going to use it irrespective of whether you use it. Okay? We're going to take the leads in the system, and we're just going to assign them to just kind of like the generic office drip campaign. Okay? So Chase may have a cool little one that says Chase is doing this and sends them something every week or something like that. We're not going to probably be that aggressive, but we'll have them on an office campaign that says, hey, Coldwell Banker, Moreno Valley, just want you to know that we still love you. Maybe send something out every 30 or 45 days in conjunction with whatever Chase is sending, or whatever the rest of you guys are sending. So, okay. Any other questions? I think I've covered most of what I need to talk about.
Is it a flat percentage or is it a flat $1,000 fee for that, for the referrals, for the leads?
Where'd you get the $1,000? Who are you guys talking to? How much is the referral on
25.
25%. Okay. There is no $1,000. It's 25% of the gross commission. And I get that too. I've had lots of, 25%, that's a lot. What's going on? You guys love our agency, support me, yada, yada, yada. If somebody called you today from San Diego and said, I have a buyer, they're looking in Moreno Valley, I'd like a 25% referral, do you want them? Would you take that lead or not?
Active rain averages out 30 in the
Okay. Well, if I saw, I didn't hear a lot of hands, but I saw some and I saw some heads. Okay. If you, there's an agent who I love to death who no longer works in this office that absolutely, no, I will not pay a referral period. Okay, well, gosh, that's what this business has developed. I mean, you'll never get any sympathy from me because on all of the REO stuff, I'm paying between a 33 and a 50% referral. I haven't sold a REO with a 3% commission in ever. I mean, the average commission right now is between 1.5% and 2.25% on my side, which basically means everything short of 3 is I'm paying referrals out left, right, and sideways. And yeah, I've done okay, you know. So having said that, so if you're a little bit, 25, that's a lot. Close 6 of them in the calendar year, and you don't have to pay them anymore. Okay? Close 6 transactions that are Leadrouter generated in the calendar year, and the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 100ths, there's no referral
For that year.
for that year. Who did not know that? Who likes that? You know how many agents have closed more than 6 in a year? Just a couple. 2. 2. Amazes me. I'm telling you, there's so much business. And I am not going to, it's on tape, so we'll erase it when we put it on the thing. Honestly, if you guys were to do nothing else than just work the Leadrouter leads and close them, you'll probably close more business than what you would have done otherwise. I don't know what's going on with this. There's just, oh, and let me give you some secrets. And this isn't a bad thing, although it's going to sound like a bad thing. And I don't know how to pull it up. I haven't played around with this enough myself, but I can go through on a lead. Let's see, maybe I can find it. Let's just, for giggles, see if we can find it. Let's grab all leads. And that might have been a bad idea. It might take a little while
To build.
spawn these up. Okay, here's one that went to Andre. Okay, this is Dese Saku. Let's see, I think this is going to give me what I'm looking for. Okay. History. Okay, oh, beautiful. This is giving me exactly what I want. Okay, you ready for this? This lead was given to Kathy Burlingham, Veronica Nasri, Shirley Lancaster, Taya Robertson, Paul Parita, and then Andre. How many agents was that before Andre accepted it?
6.
Okay, now, I don't want to pick on those people. I'm sure every single one of them had a more important appointment, a more important commitment, and something more important to do than to grab this lead. That's not uncommon. The example that I was going to give you, when I first, by the way, the old Leadrouter didn't do this. It would say, hey, Tom finally accepted a lead. It wouldn't tell me that there was 14 people that passed on that lead, and there looks like there was 6 or 7 people that passed on that lead before Andre picked it up.
Doesn't that already kill the 15 minutes that the girls?
No, because they call it, it's pretty quick. Well, let's see. This lead originally came in at 4:19, that's Eastern time, so it was 1:19, and then Andre ended up getting it, it's about 10 minutes later.
Wow.
So it took about 10 minutes to call those 7. Well, we used to have a thing, matter of fact, Mike made me scratching his head, we used to give you guys like 3 minutes to grab that lead. Nuked that, and boy am I glad I did, because look at this. If I give it 3 minutes between leads, nobody's calling back. Now again, I'm not going to pick on these people, but if I wanted to pick on one of these people, and I wanted to say, how many deals have you closed this year? Because based upon what I'm seeing, you haven't got squat going on. You don't have one open escrow, you don't have one listing, and you let the phone just ring right by you. Are you in the real estate business or what? You know what I'm saying? And this is not a, now again, let me say for a minute, because every one of those people I just named, they're not penalized, by the way. I don't have a problem with Shirley or Taya or whoever passing on that lead. If they're doing business, they're with another client, they were busy, they were out to lunch with their mom, I'm cool with that. As a matter of fact, I would much rather them look at the phone. Oh, geez, I can't do it. I'm tied up right now. Okay, just let it go. I'd much rather they let it go, let Andre pick it up, as opposed to pick it up and then then wait. Okay, so I have no problem with 7. I will tell you, I saw one of these the other day. There was 17 agents it went through before someone picked it up. And I did think to myself, I said, Self, you mean to tell me that 17, it took to the 18th agent? I did scratch my head for a little while, just thinking, I can't believe that one of those 17 agents wasn't hungry enough to get that lead. And I'll also give you another secret. Who picks up their phone after 5? Of course we all do. Who picks up their phone on weekends and holidays? Of course we all do. You really want to pick up the leads? Pick up your phone after 5. Pick up your phone, actually, before 10 in the morning. We get these emails. I don't know if I have one handy. Let me see if I can find one. We get these emails. Notices. Okay, this came in 2 days ago. 7:30 in the morning. Nobody wanted to pick up the lead. Now, again, do I expect all of you to pick up your phone at 7 in the morning? No. But if you do, your chances of picking up leads have increased dramatically. Okay? You really want to be sick? Here's one at 9 o'clock at night. 4 days earlier. Now again, I understand. Come on, Lance, I got family, I got a life. You want me to pick up at 7 in the morning at 9 o'clock at night? Maybe, not necessarily. That's up to you. But you got to understand, nobody picked up at 9. By the way, when I get this lead, you know what this means? Nobody picked up. Not one agent. Which out of 150, I would think that somebody would be working at 7:30 in the morning and somebody would be working at 9 o'clock at night. So if you're one of those, I don't get very many leads. I would say, well, when will you pick up the phone? And what day, oh, that was a Thursday.
12:30 and 12:45 is my window.
Based on like whatever area?
It's possible.
You
There
could
may
look
be
at
some
9 o'clock at night, I would be answering.
There may be some area restrictions. You may be locked out of Claremont, and maybe that's the problem, which is why internally from a management standpoint, I need to go in and say, where was that lead? And how come Debbie didn't get that lead? Because I know you would have answered the phone. And maybe, and I say Claremont, this may be a bad example, but let's just suppose we've got Claremont, zip code's only locked into some Claremont agents, and you're not allowed to go into Claremont, but you know nobody wants to pick up the phone in Claremont at 9 o'clock. Well then, guess what? You should be able to grab that lead, right? But this is the part. Now this one was at 9 at night. I want to just there's a couple more in here. Monday at 8. Okay, this is a Monday at 5:30 in the afternoon, early evening. Are we off at 5? And again, this is every agent.
How long does that take?
Oh, it could take an hour because it's going to call about every minute or so. What I'm really looking for, and I don't have I'm going to kill my own example. There we go. Sunday at 4:30, because we don't work weekends, right?
No.
Honestly, what I was going to say, and it took me 10 clicks to get to it. After hours and weekends, if you want to pick up some business, and I'm not even saying you have to be working. That's the beautiful part about Leadrouter. You're sitting at the beach, having a beer with your kid. Pick up the phone, make the phone call, schedule the appointment for when you're working later in the day or tomorrow. Okay? But it's amazing. Well, this is just April. Let's just see. Let's just go. I'm just going to buzz through. Let's go to April 1st. Okay. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Oops. I think we stopped at 27. Let's call it 25. Today's the 25th, 26th. Basically, at least on average, once a day, nobody wants to pick up the phone. Who's come from an office that is used to having floor time? Okay, you have floor time now, or you know, anybody work in an office with floor time? Lucy, right? What would happen if you just let the phone ring and nobody picked it up? Would the broker manager or the other agents come unglued? What the pick up the phone! Right? It's the same thing. At least once a day on average, we're not picking up, 150 of us aren't picking up the phone. How much business are we losing, guys? Michael?
Does that call go to you eventually?
No,
Oh, okay. Just curious.
no, I'm not a player in Leadrouter.
I thought you were at one point.
No, I should be. Maybe I should try it out. Maybe there's something inherently wrong with the system that just says it's broken. Nobody can do it. It just doesn't work. You know. But when you look at that, and again, I don't know. Now maybe those leads get resurrected. And by the way, that doesn't mean they're completely dead. It just means that they were waiting. You know, everybody, no one would call them. Now maybe 2 hours later, someone did pick up the phone. Maybe the following morning, someone picked up the phone and got the lead, or whatever it happened to be. But again, when I tell you this is good for an extra 2, 3, 4, 5 deals a year, I mean it. And it may not apply to everybody in this room, but it'll apply to a few of you. You know, Lucy's over there shaking her head. So, anyhow, let's take a couple more questions and let's get out of here. Yes.
Okay, I saw on that shop that you got, there's several different questions,
Yep.
different situations.
Yep.
If somebody calls like that and they want to know how much are the HOA dues,
Yep.
and you're just you can tell us off your head
So,
exactly what that is.
No.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm
I
trying
might
to
be
figure
able
out
to.
how prepared should I be when
I might be able to.
or at least what do I tell them? What script can I tell them?
You know what? I'm not in the office right now.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
You know, the line I've been using a lot lately, and it seems to work. It gets a chuckle. You know, geez, my memory's fading. I must be getting a little older. I used to know that stuff.
I can do that.
You know. Okay. Yeah, you're GM. You can do
My
it.
iPad is the battery's dead.
Generally speaking, you're not gonna know all of it. I don't know. What's the association doing in Sunny Ranch right now?
Yeah.
$90? I don't know. I don't know. I should know.
What
It's
is
my
it?
listing. Yes.
What is the problem with picking up the MLS before you call?
Yeah.
Oh, then
Well,
you have
hopefully,
it
that's what I'm
right
saying,
in
is
front of you.
hopefully-
I never call back before I know exactly either
Exactly.
MLS or I have the tax roll sheet if it's not listed in the MLS.
Yep.
And that's given
I mean,
that
what's the
you,
problem?
within that 15
I-
minutes though. I mean, you have to be at your computer ready to go. If you're out floating around,
That's
Or the
all this
iPad.
and you can do it on there too. Yeah,
MLS
so
is
hopefully,
here, right here.
you can get to it.
This is the problem, guys. I'm a consumer right now. Ready? Website. Someone's set up a timer here. Okay. My internet connection's a little slow. It took me 2 buttons. I did 2 clicks. And my internet
Talk to
connection's
him
not as
about the
fast as
internet
I'd
here
like
in
it
the
to be.
office. It's a little bit slow, isn't it?
I'm searching the MLS right now, and I'm not searching the MLS as an agent. I'm searching the MLS as a consumer. Okay, I got my iPad. This is just regular IDX feed on our own personal website. Give me an address. And how long does that take? You guys get the gist.
So at least provide whatever's on the MLS, but.
You better.
That's
Well,
what-
that's basically what you need most of the time.
Well,
You know?
that's how Steven got kind of caught up in that, is because he was, the condition, what it wasn't what it was, and it wasn't even his control, it was somebody else inputting that stuff and he was backing it up.
Well, maybe so, but
Well, that gets back to just seeing the inventory.
gotta see the inventory.
of course.
Again, I'm on a public website right now. Okay. Actually, let me razzle dazzle you. Hold on a second. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and I actually have the ability to do it.
Okay, he was just about done.
I know, that's on tape.
All of a sudden it's 3:30.
Yeah. Did you guys? Yeah, we're not getting out of here in 5
Hopefully
minutes.
he won't watch the tape.
We thought we were, but we're not getting out of here in 5 minutes. Here we go. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
This is the guys, and I mean this, and please don't take this the wrong way. You better get with it, or you're going to be out of business. You know, when I say we, the collective we, you're going to be out of business, okay? Because the consumers are not going to tolerate us anymore. They're just not going to do it. Okay, this is my iPad. Okay, I am on. By the way, we happen to have a pretty cool website. I don't know if you guys have spent any time there. We are actually. My battery's going to die, so we're going to have to be quick. We're on our website. It took me 3 clicks and a little bit of internet speed to get there. I'm just going to zoom in here. Where are we? We're in Marina Valley. There's Marina Valley. And I don't know what sort of search. Someone already put a search in here before. Oh, I guess they didn't. So I got all of Marina Valley. Let's just go find something here by the office. Where's our office? Okay. I'm zooming around. I'm driving around in my car with my wife. I'm looking for a property, and I like this one on Softwood. All right. Look at the pictures. Oh, look at the little girl. Great. Oh, I love the refrigerator. The refrigerator. Okay. I want info. You know, guys, this is our consumer. They're driving around. And this is why I'm saying, oh, gee, I don't have an iPad. I got to buy an iPad now? Yes. Well, get an iPad. Your consumers have them. I can't afford it. Well, then, work harder. I don't know. Go get one. You got to know this stuff. Okay? If you don't get an iPad, go get a Droid. Go get whatever. It doesn't have to be an iPad. You can do this on a Droid, right? Absolutely, you can do this on a Droid. Our consumers, I don't know anything about the Palm Springs market. My buddy's out there looking for a thing in Palm Springs. It was easier for me to go onto our company website, go to the IDX feed, pull up the map search in Palm Springs, and search properties as a consumer than it was for me to log in to the desert area MLS. Mm-hmm. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look how easy this is. And I got everything I need, man. So I got my pictures, I got my stuff, you know. At any rate,
Just so it doesn't replace the sun club.
it very well may. Well, I got to tell you what I think it's going to do. This is where we have to raise the bar. We have to be professional. In the past, we could get a sign call, and we could tap dance just a little bit. You know, be the monkey. Now, we got the consumers there, and we start tap dancing, and they know right away, wait a minute, no, what are you talking about? They know more about our listing than you know about our listing. They've got the information, so when you start spinning these yarns, what they're going to say, okay, oh, thank you very much, I can't wait to hear your call back. Click, they're going to call the next person. And you better at least have as much information as them, which now is tough. And I agree with Herman. If you're not prepared, and if that means having an MLS printout or some basic information in front of you before you go, which is easy. I mean, come on, guys. Have it with you, pull it over. It takes me a couple, 3 minutes to pull up the information. You at least got the basics. Even if you don't have the base, at least you got the pictures. Even on our website, you can just pull up the pictures. And now I've got 4 bedrooms and 3 baths and 1,747 square feet and a 7,400 square foot lot. And I got it's got a red tile roof, and yeah, it's got a swimming pool with a built-in spa. And it looks like a 2-story. Right? You with me? Is that more information than what most of you have when you're picking up the phone right now? How many people have asked you how many square feet is the house and you don't know? If you had just done this, at least you know it's 1,747 square feet for the MLS, which they're looking at anyway. And by the way, do they ask you questions that they already know the answer to?
Oh, yeah.
I do all the time. Because I want, and what's the lot size, George? I know it's 7,405. I want to hear what he's going to say. You know, is it a 2-story? George, does the property have a pool, George? I don't know, let me check it out, let me get back to it. I can't really remember, I haven't seen it. I'm looking at a picture of a pool, and I'm testing you. Do consumers do that? Well, I tell you, the secret shoppers sure as hell do. Secret shoppers do. So, anyway, guys, Cadillacs are steak knives, right, Mike?
Amen.
Who's seen the movie Glengarry Glen Ross? Go home and rent it. Go home and rent that movie. I have not had the courage to play that movie at a sales meeting, or in effect reenact the Alec Baldwin scene. Having said that, am I getting closer? I'm getting closer, and for those of you that are out of the joke, go rent the movie. It's a movie about salesmanship, specifically as it relates to real estate. And it's about a sales manager who comes in and busts the chops of his sales associates and does it in a rather colorful way.
Very mouthy. Yeah.
A lot of F words and a lot of vulgarities and all the rest of that. And as mean and cruel as it is, it's spot on. And you know, the winner of the sales contest this month gets a Cadillac. You know, with second place gets a set of steak knives. And that's really the difference between, this is the deal right now. I want to start giving out Cadillacs, and we've been having steak knives for 6 years. There's no more steak knives here. You know, you're gonna get the Cadillac or you're gonna get nothing. Okay? We've got to step up our game. We are losing money. And there's a couple of people that are out in the room. They were in the class, you know, 2 weeks ago. And they came up to me afterwards and like, oh God, Lance, thank you, finally.
Okay. Can we bring her here?
Finally. Because they're pointing to me,
Okay.
Lance, you have been giving away my leads. These are agents talking to me. They're telling me that I am giving away their leads, and they're mad at me. I had a couple agents that wanted to quit. They were going to leave the office entirely because they're so frustrated. I'm the clicker for this thing. They're
You're on your
so
tablet.
frustrated to that the leads are basically just being, you know, I don't mean to be vulgar, but they're being pissed away. You know, so okay, guys, we are done. So, welcome to the Tree of Trust, the Circle of Love.